Hi, my name is Pedro Moreira da Silva, and I'm the staff product designer working in the Create code review area of GitLab. And today I'm going to walk you through the insights of one of the recent research that we did on the code review process problems and how they affect the efficiency of primarily engineers that use GitLab for code review. So let's take a look. So this research is a result of two surveys that ran in the beginning of 2021, one internal and another external survey, so that we could compare the usage and the problems of code review with our internal audience of GitLab team members, but we also wanted to hear from other users and customers with the external survey. And the focus was to understand how engineers that use GitLab prioritize problems that affect their efficiency when they're doing code review, with the aim of helping define our roadmap in this group that we call the code review group of GitLab. So we had one research question and two hypotheses. So the research question was, what is the most frustrating part of the code review process for engineers using GitLab? And that was, without a doubt, dealing with large MRs, both internally and externally. And it was no surprise because this reinforces the feedback that we continuously receive in issues, in social media, from customer conversations. But we have to be aware that this dealing with large MRs is a problem that is quite broad. It has many different sub-problems inside of it. However, in the open text responses, it was clear that when users were, and the survey respondents were saying that dealing with large MRs was the number one problem for them, that the most visible and impactful issue was the pure product performance, so response times. The first hypothesis that we had was there isn't a significant difference in how internal and external users prioritize code review problems or how they define large merge requests. And there were only a few differences, and we think those do have to do with the different work practices of our internal teams and the external users. One of them was related to the problem of tracking my progress when looking at a merge request. It had some difference, as you can see here. Internally, it ranked in the 11th position, but externally, it ranked in the 4th position. So it was much higher in the prioritization for external users, which is interesting and something that we can look at separately in another research. Reviewing commit messages, which is often asked as one of very top feature requests that we have, ranked last internally, and externally it didn't have as much difference as we would expect. We thought it would rank higher in people's needs, but this one ranking last internally, it's just, as I said, it has to do with the work practices. We usually don't review the commit messages in the GitLab project internally, so it's not something that our engineers are concerned about. In terms of the size of large merge requests, how do they define large merge requests? The participants mainly indicated two aspects, so the number of change lines and the number of files. However, the specific size was not clear. There was no consensus about where is the threshold for a large MR, and this is in line with previous research that we did last year. Our final hypothesis was that external users struggle with reviewer assignment more than internal users, given GitLab's internal use of the danger bot for review recommendations. So we have this bot, this automated process that recommends reviewers for us internally when we're contributing to the GitLab project in the GitLab company. And external users don't have access to that feature because it's something that we created internally. And so we thought that external users would rank that problem higher, that they have a desperate need to find more appropriate reviewers for a merge request. But interestingly, finding appropriate reviewers for a merge request ranked higher internally than externally. So 9th place internally and 14th, the last position externally. So it was the least important problem that people have externally. So that was very interesting. And we're not sure exactly why this is, but one of our assumptions is that this difference could be because of that the average external respondent was an engineer in a team of up to 10 people, whereas GitLab engineers often work across teams, and we have close to 300 engineers at GitLab at the moment. So the team size could have had an effect here. Now let's talk about the efficiency problems in a very clear way. So the respondents had 14 different problems that they were asked to rank in order of severity from the most to the least impactful on their or team's efficiency. So the top 3 problems from most to least severe were, again, dealing with large MRs, the first position. Second position, knowing what happened since I last visited an MR. And then in third position, understanding the broader impact of changes, which in a way can be related to this first problem of dealing with a large merge request. And at the bottom, the least important problems that affect their efficiency is communicating or understanding the intention of comments, reviewing commit messages, and finding appropriate reviewers for a merge request, as we saw before. Now, what about a large merge request? As I said before, the number of changed lines or files is the main characteristic when defining a large merge request, but the specific size is not clear. We actually received praise for recently shipped features, and those were praised in the open text responses, and we're really happy about this. So multi-line comments, marking a file as viewed, suggestions, and reviewers were some of the features that were highlighted, and we're very happy about that. And finally, what is our recommendation after analyzing all of this and looking at these insights? So our number one recommendation is doubling down on improvements to product performance, because it was the frequently mentioned challenge in the open text responses, and it maps to what we just saw as the number one problem, dealing with large merge requests. Product performance, again, it includes things like response times, loading changes, loading comments, navigating the user interface. And fortunately, the code review group, as part of an OKR for our Q2, or second quarter of the year, we're prioritizing and exploring those improvements so that we can reduce the number of complaints and make sure that the code review experience is as effortless and frictionless as it can be. And that's that. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have any questions or comments, please check the links in the video description for more information. Thank you.